Hello, one and all. Welcome to another episode of MMA Vision Analysis. This one, I'm here to talk about the fight that was supposed to take place in the middleweight division between Robert Whittaker and Khamzat Chimaev, UFC 308 Abu Dhabi. The fight that's looking like it's in jeopardy again, and once again, it's going to be due to a Khamzat Chimaev withdraw, or at least that's what it seems like as of this moment. But before getting started, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, click that notification to get all of this that is new from this channel, your channel, the one and only MMA Vision Analysis. With Khamzat Chimaev, I'm not quite sure how to sum up this guy's career thus far. It seems like he propelled himself to astronomical heights within the first 4 or 5 fights in the UFC. And then everything just kind of, I don't want to say started tumbling around him, but I think the snowball effect is starting to accumulate. And you know, if Khamzat Chimaev does not make his comeback soon, then it will be a snowball effect. Years will be wasted within that snowball effect. And ultimately, it would be a case of wasted talent. I do understand that the middleweight division is full of talent. But the aggression and the drive that Khamzat Chimaev brings is just second to none. Entertainment top class. Unfortunately for the guy, I'm not sure if it's due to health issues or what have you, but he did pull out of that Saudi Arabia card, went back to the Caucasus Mountains to train, higher altitudes. You know, obviously the Middle East is going to be desert, dry, desert air, desert heat. It seems like that had an effect on Khamzat Chimaev and his training camp. Therefore, after the withdrawal from the Saudi Arabia fight card, a historic one indeed, I believe it was the first one that was held in Saudi Arabia, the fight that was supposed to take place against Robert Whittaker, didn't happen. The guy moved over to the, I want to say the Caucasus Mountains, that part of the world, you know, Eurasia right there. Let's say that part of Russia, I guess. Higher altitudes, you know, and things of that nature. But now, you know, this fight, I believe, was scheduled for UFC 308, the card that's going to be headlined by Ilia Topuria, Max Holloway. Fantastic fight, by the way. But I'm here to talk about the Khamzat Chimaev Robert Whittaker fight that could or could not happen. I know it's a little ways out, but unfortunately, it looks like the Khamzat Chimaev will not be participating. At least some sources suggest that he will not be participating in the fight of the fight in the middleweight division against Robert Whittaker. The fight that could perhaps determine the next title contender. Very complicated things in the middleweight division, especially with the addition of Shada Magomedov, that is. Also, you have a guy in the name of Sean Strickland, and obviously Whittaker and Khamzat Chimaev. In all honesty, if Chimaev does not make it to the fight of UFC 308, then Whittaker is going to have to face Strickland. And I should say Strickland has to face Whittaker. Unfortunately for Strickland. But if Khamzat Chimaev does indeed pull out of the fight, the night of UFC 308 against Robert Whittaker, then I think his replacement will more likely be the either Sean Strickland, or I would not put it past Shada Magomedov to go in there against Robert Whittaker, even though it's perhaps a bit too early for Shada to do so. But the way he's finishing people is just all you have to do is go back to the last performance against Guahovic and Olivier, and you will see what I'm talking about. It's a fascinating middleweight division, and in all honesty, heading into the future, I think it's only going to make it more interesting, especially when Khamzat Chimaev is clear to enter that octagon again. I believe Shada did express his interest in fighting a Khamzat Chimaev. I'm not sure if those two will fight each other just because they're from similar backgrounds. I really don't think these two will fight each other. If they do, it would be very fascinating to watch. But I just have a feeling that this fight's not going to happen. But Khamzat Chimaev, I don't know. I don't think anybody really knows. But unfortunately for the 27, 28, 29, I don't know. I forget at this point how old Khamzat Chimaev is. Time is valuable, and these valuable years are slipping by. Unfortunately, sometimes if it's due to health issues, which I'm not quite sure what kind of health issues that Khamzat Chimaev is dealing with, but obviously when somebody has health issues, you can't really blame a person for that. And I'm just so confused in terms of Khamzat Chimaev's physical well-being. Nobody really knows what's going on with Khamzat Chimaev, and unfortunately, it looks like the fight against Robert Whittaker, which would be a fight for the ages, by the way. Khamzat Chimaev, Robert Whittaker is a fun fight. It does not look like this fight will happen UFC 308 at least. As it stands, things could change. We are still a little ways out of UFC 308, but I wish the guy the best. It seems like that Robert Whittaker is going to have to probably face a Strickland or even a Shada Magomedov. Who knows? But Whittaker wants to face and has to face someone, and Whittaker is determined to get that title shot. In all honesty, I would not be opposed to Strickland Whittaker, even though Strickland would be on the let's say it just for Whittaker, for Strickland, it just doesn't make sense to face a guy like Robert Whittaker. It's a super risky fight, and it could put you out of title contention. Obviously, losing to Whittaker means that Strickland has to fight 2 or 3 more fights before he can climb back up to that division. If he loses to Whittaker the night of UFC 308, let's say if Khamzat Chimaev does not show up, loses to Whittaker, then perhaps after that we will see Strickland versus Chimaev, which would be a fascinating fight. But all of these guys could face each other and would make complete sense. You could put Shada in that fight as well against either Chimaev or Whittaker. For that fact, even Strickland, it would make sense. All of those guys are so evenly matched. But in all honesty, as it stands, we are here to talk about Whittaker, Chimaev. Looks like Chimaev will not be able to make it to that UFC 308 Abu Dhabi card. Unfortunately, I really do hope things change. I want to see Whittaker, Chimaev in there competing to determine who's next up for the title. Let's say that Izzy Drika's fight, the one that's happened in Perth, takes place. The winner of that fight faces Strickland, and the winner of that fight faces the winner out of the fight between Whittaker, let's say Chimaev as of now. I hope this fight does take place. If you made it this far, I appreciate you for sticking around. Please let me know what you think in the comments and like, subscribe for more.